Your mind is not just a tool, it's a passageway, a hidden door between dimensions of reality and possibility. Most people never realize they're holding the key, and by the time they do, they've spent years locked out from their true potential. I reclaim my time and energy and space. Comment this below if you're ready to walk through the portal. Then tell us, have you ever felt your thoughts didn't just come from inside you, but from beyond? Welcome. Today we're going to reveal what ancient mystics, quantum theorists, and spiritual masters have been pointing to all along. The mind is a portal, a literal one. And when you stop treating it like just a thinking machine and start using it as an interdimensional navigator, your life, your identity, your perception of time and space completely transforms. From the earliest scrolls of Egypt to the diagrams of the Vedas, there's a hidden code. The outer world is a mirror of the inner one. But this isn't metaphor, it's mechanism. Your mind doesn't just observe reality, it's plugged into a vast field of infinite potentials. What you focus on, you pull toward you. What you dwell on, you download. And what you fear, you unconsciously authorize. Most people never question where their thoughts are coming from. Are they just neurons firing randomly? Or are they signals, invitations, glimpses of other timelines you're vibrating near? You see, the thoughts that dominate your mind aren't always yours. If your mind is a portal, what dimension have you been letting in? The brain is an antenna. Your mind is the receiver. The soul is the operator. And consciousness is the field. But without awareness of this system, you'll default to the lowest signal: fear, doubt, scarcity, confusion. This is why so many live in survival mode. Their portal is jammed by noise, hijacked by collective trauma, media, ancestral loops, and unconscious scripting. Now here's what the ancients and the cutting-edge neuroscientists agree on. Where attention goes, energy flows, and portals open. That means whatever you keep putting your attention on expands. If you obsess over lack, you amplify it. If you imagine betrayal, your reality will conspire to deliver it. And if you dare to visualize freedom, prosperity, and healing, and hold it with clarity, the portal aligns. But clarity is rare, because attention is scattered. Scrolling culture, dopamine addiction, unresolved emotions, all of this keeps your mind fogged. So how do you clear the portal? This is where we shift from ideas to initiation. There is a method, an alignment, a recalibration of the mind as portal that begins with silence, not the absence of sound, but the presence of stillness. When the inner chatter dims, you begin to hear your true frequency. And that's when things start moving. Let's go deeper. This stillness isn't just a luxury, it's the threshold. And only when you cross it can you start using your mind like the alchemists did. Not to react, but to summon. Not to daydream, but to construct. You become an architect of frequencies. Modern science is now catching up to what mystics knew long ago. The observer doesn't just influence the outcome, the observer is part of the outcome. You are not separate from the data you're perceiving. When you look at something with emotion, you imprint it. Your thoughts become permissions for that version of reality to enter. You're constantly voting with your focus. But here's the thing no one tells you. Most of us are focusing by default, not by design. You're thinking the same 90% of thoughts today as yesterday. The portal is looping, stuck on auto-receive. That's why your reality feels static, because you're tuning into the same frequency over and over again, expecting a different result. To break the loop, you must become deliberate, not passive. You start by identifying the thoughts that feel like parasites, looping, draining, self-sabotaging. Those are not your voice. They are signals from a timeline you don't want to live in anymore. You owe them nothing. Thank them and release them, then choose better. Now let's talk about the dimension you do want to open. The future you feel inside but haven't seen outside yet. That life, that version of you, it already exists, but it's vibrating on a different channel. So what opens the gate? Emotional resonance. Thought plus feeling plus focused repetition equals energetic bridge. This is not manifestation as a wish, it's manifestation as frequency tuning. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions vibrate in harmony with a timeline, the portal collapses space. The impossible arrives, the improbable becomes obvious. This is why things that once felt far away suddenly rush in when you're in alignment. It's not magic, it's mechanics. This stillness isn't just a luxury, it's the threshold. And only when you cross it can you start using your mind like the alchemists did. Not to react, but to summon. Not to daydream, but to construct. You become an architect of frequencies. Modern science is now catching up to what mystics knew long ago. The observer doesn't just influence the outcome. The observer is part of the outcome. You are not separate from the data you're perceiving. When you look at something with emotion, you imprint it. Your thoughts become permissions for that version of reality to enter. You're constantly voting with your focus. But here's the thing, no one tells you. Most of us are focusing by default, not by design. You're thinking the same 90% of thoughts today as yesterday. The portal is looping, stuck on auto-receive. That's why your reality feels static, because you're tuning into the same frequency over and over again, expecting a different result. To break the loop, you must become deliberate, not passive. You start by identifying the thoughts that feel like parasites, looping, draining, self-sabotaging. Those are not your voice. They are signals from a timeline you don't want to live in anymore. You owe them nothing. Thank them and release them. Then choose better. Now let's talk about the dimension you do want to open. The future you feel inside but haven't seen outside yet. That life, that version of you, it already exists, but it's vibrating on a different channel. So what opens the gate? Emotional resonance, thought plus feeling plus focused repetition equals energetic bridge. This is not manifestation as a wish, it's manifestation as frequency tuning. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions vibrate in harmony with a timeline, the portal collapses space. The impossible arrives, the improbable becomes obvious. This is why things that once felt far away suddenly rush in when you're in alignment. It's not magic, it's mechanics. But here's where people sabotage the portal. They visualize, but doubt. They affirm, but fear. They meditate, but stay addicted to the version of themselves that's always struggling. You can't open the door while holding on to the lock. You must become the version of yourself that already lives in that reality, now. Not once it shows up. That's the paradox. You shift first, then the shift shows. When you do this consistently, the portal strengthens. You begin to sense the shift in energy before events unfold. You'll know which opportunities are aligned and which are traps. Your intuition sharpens, synchronicities multiply, time bends. You stop chasing and start receiving. And this is when you'll realize something powerful. The portal is not just in the mind. The portal is the self, the healed, aligned, awakened self that becomes a channel for divine intelligence to move through space and time. Still with me? Let's go even deeper. When your internal vibration shifts, even subtly, the external begins to respond. And often, not in fireworks or dramatic flashes, but in whispers, nudges. You'll feel the friction dissolve from conversations that used to drain you. Ideas will arrive mid-thought like messengers. People will appear as reflections of your new frequency. You won't even realize how much your reality has changed until you look back and realize the old portal closed quietly. This is the power of inner alchemy. The ancient sages, the initiates of Thoth, and mystics across every continent knew this. You don't change the outer world by force. You change your mind as a sacred act, and the outer shifts because it has no choice. The universe is not ignoring you. It's simply responding to your signal. But here's the challenge. The portal is always active, always translating, always listening. And if you're not conscious of what you're transmitting, you may accidentally open doorways to realities you don't want to live in. Fear does that. So does shame, doubt, bitterness. All of them tune the dial of your portal to low-vibration timelines. This is why healing is more than self-care. It's energetic hygiene. Think of your mind as a sacred antenna. You must clean it, recalibrate it, reset it regularly. Otherwise, it becomes a magnet for distortion, a loop for recycled pain. But once you understand the architecture of your inner world, your thoughts, beliefs, expectations, you become the builder. You can wire new pathways, implant new commands, create new channels of reception. The subconscious becomes your canvas, not your cage. That's where true freedom begins. And here's a revelation many miss. Your portal is holographic. It responds to symbols, images, emotions, and metaphors, not just language. That's why rituals, vision boards, and dream journaling work. You are speaking in the original language of the universe, frequency encoded in emotion. You are painting reality with feeling. So when you visualize a future version of yourself, abundant, calm, purposeful, you are not just daydreaming. You are programming a command. Your subconscious begins scanning the quantum field for matching frequencies. And when you add repetition and emotional charge, that vision becomes magnetic. But beware of false alignment when you mentally affirm what you don't emotionally believe. Your mind says, "I am powerful," but your body still vibrates with scarcity. That split sends mixed signals through the portal. The result? Glitchy manifestations, almosts, near misses, confusing signs. This is where most give up. So how do you sync it all? You embody the thought. You live it before it's visible. You walk like it's already true. You speak like it's inevitable, not to fake it, but to tune in. You become the version of yourself who would naturally have that outcome, and your world rearranges itself to catch up. Let this sink in. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are being. And being is not something you wait for. It's a conscious act of creation. Let's take this even deeper in the final part. The most radical transformation begins when you recognize this truth. You were never designed to merely adapt to this world. You were meant to recode it. You were not born to conform to broken systems, inherited limitations, or ancestral wounds. You were born to reprogram the grid, to realign it with the frequency of who you truly are. You see, every second, your mind is not just passively observing reality, it's constructing it. Millions of signals are processed and filtered through your internal coding system, your beliefs, your self-concept, your emotional baseline. If those beliefs are rooted in scarcity, lack, shame, or fear, then that is the version of the hologram you continue to access. The portal, your mind, doesn't care what you wish for. It responds only to what you believe and what you expect. Now here's where things get real. You can affirm abundance 100 times a day, but if deep down you feel undeserving, your portal stays locked in a timeline of limitation. If you say, "I am love," but you recoil from connection, the universe matches your true frequency, not your words. The minder's portal responds to energetic congruence. It reads alignment, not language. This is why positive thinking alone doesn't work for most people, because they're painting over core wounds with temporary optimism. But those deeper energetic imprints still run the show. You can't bypass your frequency with words. You have to upgrade it. And upgrading your frequency means releasing the distortions that have been looping your access to the same limited reality. This is the hidden curriculum of awakening. You must deconstruct the false identities you inherited, were conditioned into, or created as survival masks. Because those versions of you cannot pass through the portal. You are not just here to heal. You are here to reclaim your role as the architect of reality. This requires radical self-honesty. It means asking, what do I really believe about my power? What do I believe about being seen? What timeline am I currently inhabiting? And am I ready to move? Once you begin to challenge the scaffolding of your mental prison, cracks appear. And through those cracks, light enters. Possibilities you couldn't see before begin to flicker. Your perception stretches, and with it, the entire simulation shifts. This is the beginning of dimensional migration. You are not locked into any outcome. You are locked only into the beliefs that anchor you to that outcome. Change the internal coordinates, and the external map reconfigures. This is what sages and mystics, shamans and quantum physicists have all hinted at. Reality is fluid, timelines are multiple, and the portal is inside you. But beware, accessing the portal comes at a cost, and that cost is the death of who you thought you were. You'll feel the resistance. Friends may fall away. Old patterns may scream for attention. The ego will beg for comfort. This is not punishment, this is purification. The friction isn't here to stop you, it's here to prove to the field that you are serious, that you're willing to detach from the simulation to remember your source code. You want to meet the version of you who lives in peace, in freedom, in love, in prosperity. That version is not a fantasy, it already exists. But to meet them, you must match them. And matching them means embodying new thoughts, speaking new truths, feeling new emotional signatures, even when nothing outside has changed, because that's when the alchemy begins. That's when the portal says, "Ah, you are no longer the same, so now neither is your reality." You can't be half in. This isn't about mental tricks or wishful thinking. This is about full-body alignment with a new field of being. It's about shedding the outdated codes and uploading the original blueprint that your soul has been holding all along. You were not given a mind to merely survive this world. You were given a mind to project new ones into existence. So now the portal asks again, which version of you are you willing to become? The one who keeps waiting, or the one who activates? The one who loops in fear, or the one who remembers? The one who believes they're broken, or the one who realizes they're the architect? You are not here to keep replaying a recycled timeline of mediocrity and pain. You are here to transcend it, to rewrite it, to walk boldly through the portal of your own design, and to carry others across. Because when you reclaim the power of your mind, you don't just change your life, you change the world. So speak your truth, command your frequency, unplug from the noise, walk in certainty, radiate your essence. Don't beg reality to shift, instruct it. This is your portal, this is your domain. Now walk through it, and never look back.